California Republican Ed Royce, chairman of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, is my guest now. And, sir, good morning to you. I know your heart goes out to the Warmbier family, as does ours, especially on a day like today. What can we say about the expansion of North Korea's testing site? How much do we really know?
Well, what we do know is that they move forward with every spare dollar in hard currency that they can get. And one of the real questions is it time to cut off all of that hard currency that goes into that regime? The answer is yes. You know, Otto's father was right. I mean, this is such a horrible tragedy in terms of the way he was treated, but people are increasingly enticed into coming to North Korea to visit North Korea. We've got to put an end to that. And the other thing we have to stop, and I have legislation in the Senate right now that passed this House, 419-1, that will block any revenues coming into North Korea from their illicit activities like the use of indentured servitude workers that they send overseas, and then the check is not paid to the workers. It goes to the regime and then right into the nuclear weapons program. That has to be shut down right now, and we have a sanctions bill to do that. The Senate must act on that immediately.
What's the holdup in the Senate, sir?
You know, it's been over in the Senate for a month, and my observation would be that now that we've seen North Korea that was already holding 3 Americans, now that we've seen that they've tortured Otto, and we've seen them also preparing this site potentially for another nuclear weapons test, now more than ever is the time to send the message that we're going to cut off their capability of getting their hands on the currency they need. That program costs them about $1.7 billion a year. Well, they make over $1 billion just from sending their workers overseas to these countries which don't pay the workers but pay the regime in North Korea. Well, let's put sanctions on that and end that practice, and we can do that with this legislation.
You can put more pressure on Beijing, too. President Trump tweeted this week. Well, I greatly appreciate the efforts of President Xi and China to help with North Korea. It has not worked out. At least I know China tried. What is your reaction to that message?
One of the reasons I want to pass this legislation is because it makes it clear that if countries are going to continue to subsidize North Korea, that they will be sanctioned for that by the United States. And I can share this with you, Bill. If you give a bank in China a choice between doing business with the United States or North Korea, it is a choice between being economically viable versus bankruptcy. If they're not doing business with us, they will cut off their business ties with North Korea. And that's exactly what did happen in Banco Delta Asia when the sanctions were put years ago on North Korea because they were discovered to be counterfeiting $100 U.S. bills. At that point in time, we sanctioned them. It shut down their capacity to buy parts for their nuclear weapons program, and the dictator couldn't pay his generals.
Well, I mean,
that's exactly what we should do.
You have issues with the Senate, North Korea. The Senate's got issues with the House on Russia sanctions. Has the White House requested those sanctions on Moscow to be watered down? Is that true?
I do not know that. What I do know is that we're going to move legislation through this House in order to further sanction Russia. The original sanctions that I supported are in law, and these are additional sanctions being passed through the Senate. What has happened so far, Bill, is that the legislation that they moved into the House, all revenue bills have to originate in the House, and the Ways and Means chairman was notified by the parliamentarian. So that is a change that I think can be made in the Senate bill, and it will be moved into the House, and we will act on this issue.
Sir, will it get done or not?
It will get done. It has to get done. We have to send this message to Moscow. What Moscow is doing is not only, Putin is doing this, not only is he threatening democracies, but he's trying to break NATO. And the best counter for us in this regard is to show that we're going to put additional sanctions on him, and the other half of this bill is additional sanctions on Iran, which has to happen right now because Iran is developing ballistic missiles and an ICBM program so that they could deliver a nuclear weapon. In 13 years, all of the controls on Iran come off, they're going to have that nuclear weapon. We cannot allow them to go forward with an ICBM program.
Sir,
so
thank you
both
for your
on
time.
Russia and Iran, it has to happen.
Understood. Thank you, sir. I'm out of time today, but thank you for yours. Ed
Thanks.
Royce there, the Republican.